Welcome in, everybody. We're live here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grille. It's a Friday afternoon in Gainesville, Florida. The Friday live stream brought to you by our friends at Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer. We'll tell you about them in a little bit later. CJ Vogel alongside me, Jerry Hamilton, and Rod Babers back in the great state of Texas. We're here to talk a little Longhorn football going up against the Florida Gators. CJ, the weather is topic of conversation. You flew in today from Orlando, and I think you brought the unfortunate weather with you. It looks like it's getting ready to, I don't know, the skies are about to open up, it feels like right here.
I brought the doom and gloom, Bobby.
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
But no, I arrived this morning in Orlando and driving up through Ocala now down here to Gainesville. I mean, it's followed storms basically every 20 miles. It's cleared up a little bit now. There's still some clouds on the horizon where I know we were talking a little bit before air, thinking it might start dumping on us here pretty soon.
I grew up on the Gulf Coast. It has the look of something coming in off the Gulf Coast right now. It's that dark.
I'm watching the Weather Channel. It's coming. I'm watching the Weather Channel as we do the show. It's on the way.
It's pretty bad. Rod Babers, gonna talk to you. We're gonna everybody today. We're gonna have our release all of our predictions across everybody that works with us here at On Texas Football. So we'll have that for you guys. We're also going to pass along some news about a Texas fan, long-term Texas fan, one of the best Texas fans I've ever heard of or had the pleasure of meeting before, Scott Wilson. He's had an emergency. I'm going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a few things here in this 45 minutes or so that we'll have with you guys this afternoon on Friday. Before we get going, though, before we start all that, I want to say thank you to Garage Beer Light and Lime with 95 calories, 3 grams carbs, and only 4% ABV. It is beer-flavored beer. This is the beer the way it should be, cold, crisp, easy. It's Garage Beer, no gimmicks. There's Garage Beer Light and Lime. It's beer-flavored beer. And I guess the garage is always open, too. All right, so Rod B., I want to go to you real quick. Longhorns likely going to be playing in inclement weather. You've played in inclement weather before. Does this mean lower scoring game or higher scoring game to you in your experience?
I definitely think it means lower scoring game to me. Sloppy field for an offense like Sark's, especially that has a lot of moving parts to it, literally and figuratively, and execution and, the precision of the offense altogether. I think the inclement weather could end up really having a negative impact on some of those hacks and cheat concepts. This is a game usually when it gets sloppy. I love what Coach Shipley said on our live stream last night. You need a mutter. Who's the mutter on your team? Do you know who the mutter is? Is it's Cedric Baxter usually the guy you feel like he's a mutter. Is it you hopefully getting Trey Wisner back? Trey Wisner seems to be a guy that can do damn near anything. So I wouldn't doubt if he's got a little bit of it in him. But a guy that in sloppy play, inclement weather like this, that actually helps their game. It kind of improves their game a little bit. So we'll see. Maybe Jared Gibson is that guy, can run downhill on teams. So I think you line up in 12 personnel when you got inclement weather. Texas has been running a lot of 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends, and then find out which of your running backs can really find their footing if this weather is indeed that bad. And it looks like it's going to be raining like all day long, off and on, and also have a plan for a weather delay if that happens. I'm a knock on wood. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But if you get one strike of lightning, y'all know how that goes.
Oh, it's 45 minutes out.
Yeah, 45-minute delay. And I tell you, I have not seen any lightning today at all. I've been in Gainesville since this morning. We did the morning show looking out onto Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. That was a fun morning for me personally. But I've been here all day and it hasn't rained. Now it's spit on you for a couple minutes, like barely, right? But the clouds that are moving in now, I'm looking at 2 different ones from 2 different sides. They look like they're getting ready to drop a lot of rain. Hey, we were here a little bit. CJ, we've been getting around town. CJ's had some fun with the Gator, the alligator over at the
there you go.
That's a little On Texas Football hat on it.
On Texas Football on the scene.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a tradition. We got to keep that going. It did not work out last year for when I put it on the Georgia Bulldog when I rolling through to see recruits.
Ooh. Hey, it worked out in Arkansas, though.
And College
It worked in
Station.
Arkansas. And
What did you
College
put it
Station.
on in College Station? The dog?
There was a dog.
There was a dog.
Yeah.
There's a bronze dog.
There was
Okay.
a Rebel.
See?
Okay.
Wore the hat quite well.
Yeah.
You thought it was actually Buzz Williams.
Hey, speaking of getting around, the Longhorns just boarded the plane moments ago. I guess 30 minutes ago.
Yep.
The Longhorns got on the plane to come over here to Gainesville. They're going to have to fight some inclement weather up in Jacksonville or Orlando or wherever they're landing. Maybe here in Gainesville, I guess. But we'll see them. Arch Manning there with the close up, getting on the plane.
Yeah, what
New
an
picks.
angle, huh?
Yeah, different angle for you. Hey, I want to say this. We've got a lot of stuff coming and going to talk about it. But first, I want to go over these predictions because, CJ, you brought out something in our pre-staff meeting that I thought was interesting.
Yep.
Matt, if you'll bring those up so everybody can see this. Look at these scores, guys. Every single person has Texas in the 20s. Nothing in the 30s and nothing in the teens.
Yeah.
What, CJ?
Yeah, hey, Texas, no scores in the 30s, only one. It's only Coach Shipley right now that has Florida in the 20s. So everybody expecting a very similar type of ball game. That tells me one thing as someone who's lost a lot gambling in my life is if everybody thinks one thing is going to happen, that means it's going to go the complete opposite direction. Now we'll see, but
It means Vegas is getting ready to make a lot of money. Is what it means.
that's where we're headed.
We're going to have a bunch of guys slipping and busted coverages through slipping and receivers falling down and a pick six. We're going to have some weird things happen tomorrow, more than likely now.
So,
Yeah.
look, I went 20-14. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and I do think that the field goal kicker, Mason Shipley, will be a factor in the win here. I also think that Florida's defense, just like Texas, is really salty, but I think both teams will do enough on offense to make this a fairly contested game. Rod, what score did you have and why?
Yeah, I think ultimately I kind of went back and forth a couple times, ended up at 24-10. I just don't see, even with inclement weather, unless, like Jerry says, maybe you just get some good luck. Texas DB slip. Maybe some Texas has trouble like getting themselves acclimated to the weather defensively. I'm not sure how Florida, without a vertical passing game, is going to be able to move the football on Texas. Now, you may not get a passing game, period, because everybody may be limited because of weather. If that's the case, it makes you even more predictable in terms of what you're going to do. And I just don't see how Florida's going to be able to move the football. Texas, number one in the country right now in stop rate as well, just getting teams off the field. And I think they're going to get Florida off the field a lot with DJ Lagway struggling. So I don't see much production from Florida. I do see Texas being able to take advantage of good field position in this game because they stopped that Florida offense so often. I think that's how they get some scores on the board with better field position, easy field position, pretty much.
Jerry, what about you, buddy?
I went 23-17 Texas, and I think it's going to be a fourth quarter game. I hope you hope you're wrong, but I think Florida will show some signs of life, and I think they'll make this a game, and I think it'll be a fourth quarter game, and I think Mason Shipley 3 field goals will be the difference here. One of the interesting things to chew on, not a Gator, not for a Gator to chew on, but I was on a podcast with David Waters, who does a good job with Florida YouTube channel and coverage, and I asked him about how many windy games has he ever been in Ben Hill Griffin? And he kind of thought about it. He said some rain games, but he can't remember one where like the wind was gusting 15, 20, 25, 30 miles an hour. So not a stadium because he didn't know if it was a swirl effect or what the wind would be doing, because I asked him just because I think the kicking game is going to be so affected by the wind tomorrow, but he can't really recall many games where it was a 25 mile an hour gust where kicking game was really affected. So that's been maybe even new for the Florida fans if the wind is what they say it's going to be, which is sustained 12-14, gusting 25-30.
Gotcha. CJ, yours?
Yeah, I have 26-14. 26, I don't know how Texas is going to get to that number. Maybe they take a lot of field goals, kind of just threw a number out there because it feels
4
like
field goals, 2
it
touchdowns.
feels like a game where odd things happen, considering both teams defensively kind of leading the way, considering the weather. And Jerry, I think you made a strong point about the wind. Look, we talk about rain, and rain is one thing to plan. Wind is another, especially when you are heavily dependent upon throwing the football. Now, Texas, I hope, is able to establish some sort of run tomorrow. But having walked around Benton Hill Griffin Stadium earlier today, Bobby, I mean, they have flags very similar to Texas up at the top of their stadium. And about a 20-yard distance between flags, they're pointing in different directions. That tells me that there's some sort of swirling going along inside of that stadium, some sort of jet stream bouncing off of the press box on the home side of the stadium. So we'll see what that looks like tomorrow. But it hasn't been talked about a whole lot, even in the consideration of all this weather.
Yeah, I would say this. It is a vertical stadium. It is a vertical stadium, and so it could be very little effect from a wind. I'm just going to put it out there because it's high on both sides, and so it could just keep it away from the field, not all together, but in large part. We'll have to wait and see, Jerry. We just don't know.
Wait, we had another score prediction. We had another score prediction come in. Our guy, Ash, our Florida fan who was in there the other day, who said 30-24 Florida, Lagway throwing for 5 touchdowns. He's back. So he predicted 30-24 Florida yesterday. Ash, thanks for coming back in there. DJ Lagway with 5 touchdown passes.
He's going to pick him up. He's got to have his best game he's had all season long because he has not shown that DJ Lagway that we saw flashes of last year. I think it's in him. I don't mean to be trash at DJ Lagway because I do think last year he showed flashes of that upside. We have not seen it this year at all. So maybe he's hurt. Maybe it's just because the offense is underachieved, but he's surviving quarterback right now. He ain't thriving.
Rod, part of that we think is because he's not running the ball as much this year as he did a year ago, and we think part of his running game set up the pass, at least the threat of him running set up the pass. And frankly, he's not doing it as much this year, or he's getting sacked, one or the other. Right. And so I feel like there's an element there that Texas may be able to take advantage of. We'll have to see exactly how that all comes to pass. All right, CJ, Jerry, and Rod, we've got some questions coming in here. We're going to take those in just a minute. Before we do, Jerry, please tell our friends about our friends over at University Co-op and 40 Acres Apparel.
Love to do this one. It's one of my favorite reads. Thank you to the University of Texas Co-op and 40 Acres Apparel. The University of Texas Co-op is a nonprofit that has been serving the Longhorn community since 1896. Sounds like a long time of great work. Every penny of profit directly benefits course material scholarships. In fact, over 9,000 students have received free course material scholarships in the previous academic year. 40 Acres Apparel was born inside DKR, designed and built exclusively for the University of Texas and Longhorn Nation. Go down to the University of Texas Co-op or go to universityoftexascoop.com and get geared up with 40 Acres Apparel. Great designs, fashionable, high quality, SPF 50. Moisture wicking might come in handy tomorrow. Hey, collar integrity, as Rod Babers says. I'm wearing one. I think we're all wearing them. It's just a super, that says good product. It's a great product. Looks great, feels great. 40 Acres is is also a proud sponsor of the course material scholarships for all UT students. Thank you very much to the University of Texas Co-op and 40 Acres Apparel for their support of On Texas football and the University of Texas students.
Now joining us, if you're just now joining us, guys, we are live here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grille in Gainesville. This is a unique spot. It's kind of a Florida museum of sorts.
Yeah.
A lot of visors on the wall, frankly, that are signed by Steve Spurrier. They've got a championship room. They've got all his watches from all his different bowl games. It's just a memorabilia spot of Florida thing all over the place. Plus, all the Steve Spurrier coached games are on all the big screen TVs as well. Plus, this little thing right here. I want to try to get
I have like 4 of those in my house.
Okay. So this is really cool. They have a diagrammed play of the Jaquez Green catch from Doug Johnson, and that beat Florida State in 1997, 32-29.
That's
so kind of a cool little deal.
You able to catch it, Bobby?
I can catch it, dude. That's how you do it, guys. Just so y'all know. Before you came along, CJ, I was doing that, at several places around.
That was better than Bird Auburn's paper football kick.
Yeah, that was better than Bird Auburn's paper football. Let's not do that. We didn't jinx our friend Mason Shipley last week. We don't need to do that again this week. All right, we're going to go to the chat line, guys. Y'all ready for that?
Yeah,
Is everybody ready for that? Syracuse Horn. He's a Debbie Downer, not me. If Arch struggles early, does he recover? This is the question. Does he bounce back like a rubber ball? That's what my dad told me that one time. Quarterbacks need to bounce back like a rubber ball. They can't just remain flat and stay flat. That's what good leaders do. What happens with Arch Manning? Have we seen him start a game poorly and finish strong?
Yeah, Ohio State.
You think so? He's still not playing great late.
The best he played that whole damn game was like the last 6-7 minutes of the game.
That's fair.
He was terrible the rest of the 3.5 quarters. So there was a little bit of, him being able to bounce back there, right? A little rubber band man. And then the bad UTEP game, let's not forget. And then coming back, obviously, Sam Houston State having a good game. I know the opponent is an inferior opponent. So hopefully this is what we're getting. We're getting what I expect from a young quarterback, and we just didn't expect to see that from him, which is inconsistent play. So what will you get on the road at Florida? That a lot of that I think is going to be on Sark and the weather, because you can only do so much if the weather is crazy, wind swirling. It'd be ill-advised to start chunking the ball out there with a young quarterback. So they'll probably do a lot of short, quick passes to make sure that they're accurate in inclement weather, and also run the football, I think, early on to try to make sure they can establish a running game.
By the way, you can't implement 2 game plans, but they're going to have 2 separate scripts depending on the weather. I mean, Sark's going to have an either-or type of script, right, Rod? I mean, you can't just roll into a game and here's what we're doing. And if you get there and it's raining and the wind's blowing 25, you're going to be able to call the game the same way or call the same script you were. It's going to be interesting to see from Sark's perspective on what that looks like if the weather's inclement.
Hey, Jerry, you talked about this, so I'm going to stay with you on this. Any worry about Ryan Niblett on punt return with the inclement weather?
Yes.
We talked about that a little bit this morning. Jerry was definite on that. Rod and CJ, what are y'all thinking?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you talked about it. It's a vertical stadium.
Yeah.
But that ball will exceed where that stadium cuts off. That wind will swirl. That ball will move. And catching the punt by itself has not necessarily been a strength of Ryan Niblett's already. The returns have been great, right? The setup, the return, getting the ball in your hands and taking off, following the blocks, that's been great. But the full process of receiving the punt cleanly, it's left a lot of meat on the bone. It's left a lot of yards off the field for the Longhorn offense. I'm a bit concerned considering what wind we're seeing right now and what we might be seeing tomorrow as well.
Yeah, coaches probably tell him, if he's unsure or uncertain, leave it alone. It's one of those games where the big mistake, all right, may end up hurting a team more than the big play ends up helping a team. And that's a big mistake. Florida may not be able to get any offense going. Big mistake that deep in their territory, momentum. So if I was Jeff Banks in this game, wet footballs, swirling wind, like you guys are talking about, he's already shown, a little, some indecision, if you will, on some of those punts. I'd be like, man, if you're unsure, let it go. We good. We got a good defense. Just let it go, and then we can play the field position game. And
the point that Rod made, we talked about this morning. If it is a damp field or wet field, at Ohio State on that sport turf, when Ryan Niblett didn't come up and field the short punts, Texas lost 12, 15 yards. It won't happen tomorrow unless it's downwind. If it's a downwind punt, they will tell him you got to field the ball because then you're going to lose 20 yards in field position. If it's into the wind, I would not field that ball. If it's short punt, no chance. I'm running.
Now, Jared, do you think that leads to more opportunities to block punts, to get after punts?
Oh, don't. Time out. We don't need any extra free first downs.
I hate to play conservative and punt block unless maybe I'm down late in this game, but I do not want to give a team that struggles on third downs. It was literally 0 for 13 last week, a first down through a penalty and give them a chance to mount a drive that they haven't earned.
Yeah.
That's 100% where I'm at.
I asked because we see in big games before that punt block against Oklahoma, that was a big momentum switch in that game specifically in which you need momentum. Against a good defense, points are welcomed. I wanted to
I think
guys.
Look, I got a question for y'all.
Hold on a second. Yeah. My take on that is it always depends on the score of the game. So there's got to be context, right?
Situational, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but look, I think that we just talked what Rod just said. Sometimes it's not a game about who makes the most plays. It's about who makes the least mistakes.
Yep.
And I think that you go after a punt in this weather.
No, they got stuck. We may have lost a connection there. All right, I'll take over while they're staring at their answers, while they're staring at each other. Hey, Rod, this is a question I had. What's the down and distance in the where Sark kicks the field goal on 4th down versus going for it in the red zone area in this game? Because I think that's going to be big. Because Sark has to dial back the aggression in this game. He knows this is a defensive game, and now we'll see. Sometimes the game dictates the answer to that. But what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's just like you said, the game. How well is the running game doing? Right, if the running game has kind of found its groove, and he's feeling confident about the running game, I think Sark, it's in his nature. I think he rolls the dice on that 4th and short. So if it's 4th and 2 or less, I think Sark, if he's feeling confident about the running game, I think Sark still decides he's going to be aggressive and roll the dice. If the running game is not working, and say it's sporadic, and say it worked on this drive but hadn't worked consistently throughout the game, you take the points. I would take the points in this game. Period. It's one of those games.
That's me too.
This is a make the fewest mistakes kind of game for me, and I take the points with those 3. I really do, because I think you can get down here a couple of times, and if you get close enough, you may be dealing with swirling wind and inclement weather as it relates to the kicking game too. So you may be forced actually to make some of those aggressive decisions if you're, a little too far away to take that chance in this kind of weather. You may want to make sure you're a little bit closer to help with the kicking game. So I think this is a game where I'm not going to judge Sark too much on those decisions unless he's really close and doesn't take the points. And if you're close and don't take the points and don't get in, that's something Sark's going to be judged for. Because in this game, you don't need a lot of points to beat Florida. You don't.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Maybe you can get a defensive TD though here. And David Rawls says, will there be a defensive TD from either team?
Well, look, Spurrier said on his little radio podcast in that place y'all are at there earlier in the week that the Florida defense is going to have to start scoring since the offense can't. So he's definitely thinking Florida needs a defensive TD in this game. I do think what normally happens in games where, and it doesn't have to be a lot of rain, a field slick or there's wind, the pick 6 becomes something that is in play in games like this. A receiver slips coming out of a break and a DB gets an easy one, or the ball sails and a DB gets an easy one. Pick 6s come into play in games like this. I do think, I don't know if it'll be a pick 6. I do think there's going to be a big momentum interception return type in this game, because it happens a lot in weather games where there's a slicker field and wind involved.
Tip drill. Guy slips off a guy's hands, right? Yeah, right into the defender's hands. Yeah. No, I like that, Jerry. All
right. Is this from DJ Alexander? Thanks, DJ, for the super chat.
Yes.
Is this a Leonga Lafau type of game? Jaden Ball is a good between the tackles runner.
Yes.
You need to be a sure tackler against this young man, one of the better running backs in the country. We'll see whether or not it is a Leonga Lafau type game. I will say this. I'll be surprised if he's not the leading tackler for the Longhorns tomorrow. It's been between him. Most of the year it's been between Leonga and Anthony Hill. I feel like this might be more a Leonga Lafau mutter type of game, right?
Yeah. It would be a great sign. It would be a great sign for Texas if he's the leading tackler tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about injuries, because somebody brought up LL's bringing up, does Dallas Wilson, the freshman wide receiver for Florida, debut this week? Billy Napier's saying that yes, that is going to happen, and there are no limitations to Dallas Wilson as it relates to this game. This is the injury report that came out last night that Texas filed. C.J. Baxter remains as doubtful. The big news last night was Manny Muhammad downgraded from probable to questionable, and we are hearing that he may be out of this game. We will see. Sark handles the injury reports pretty straightforward historically. but we think that he's unlikely to play tomorrow, or if he does, it's going to be that 10 to 15 play range at most. The probables, of course, we expect, Florida expects Dallas Wilson to debut this week. So does Texas expect Emmett Mosley, their transfer wide receiver from Stanford. Then also Kobe Black and Xavier Filsaime are probable. The real one, though, for Texas is Trey Wisner. Getting Trey Wisner back on the field, a big one for Arch Manning to have somebody other than himself in the backfield that he can rely on. We will see what all that means. Any comments from you guys on any of the injury issues?
Yeah, so I think there's been a lot of Dallas Wilson talking here. Look, I don't – if Dallas Wilson wins Florida the game tomorrow, Texas isn't that good of a team. I'll be real. This is his first college game ever. And I do think the other guys will play more than he does tomorrow. I mean, again, it's kind of like it's his first college game. Are they just going to throw him out there at 60 plays tomorrow? I don't think so. Really talented player. Texas tried to flip him from Oregon. Rod, I wanted to say this. Ask you, if Manny Muhammad can't go, do you put Grayson at a corner? What do you do? Do you put Jelani McDonald at nickel in a game like this because of the way Florida is with their run game? And how do you adjust it with your DB eyes if Manny Muhammad cannot go tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's a perfect game to go with your big nickel package, actually. You were talking about with the three safeties, Jelani McDonald essentially playing nickel. And the way they rotate their safeties, it could end up with any of those guys actually down in that position. But they were working all those guys at cross-training all those guys at nickel and at safety in the offseason. So they could go with their three safety package. We saw even against Sam Houston State, them put Grayson Littleton at the corner. This time, of course, Jalen Gilbert would probably be at the other corner for you. So I like that, especially if there's inclement weather and Florida wants to run the rock, and that's the strength of their team. That matches up really well with your big nickel package. So that's probably how I would start instead of a young Cade Phillips. You see Kobe Black still up there. He's probable, but he was dealing with some injuries too. Instead of those young guys on the road at Florida, because I'm Florida and I see Cade Phillips out there, a young buck like that, or maybe a Kobe Black, they'll go after him. They may go after Grayson Littleton, but as we've seen, he's been more than up to the task when he's been tested, even at Ohio State. So he's not considered necessarily a weakness. He's just an inexperienced player.
I'm really eager to see if Texas comes out in some sort of bare front and keeps the beef up front, similar to what they did against Ohio State early on. That was more out of Ohio State's unwillingness to throw the football deep more than Florida's what we're expected inability to throw the football deep. If that's the case, we talked earlier about Leon Gothau. Jaden Ball is 235 pounds. That's a big dude.
Yeah.
I wonder if Texas leans more on Trey Moore and Anthony Hill, both around 240, 245, man in the middle of the field. Not saying Leonga can't do it, just more saying you want to match that beef with beef.
Interesting. Could be. Could be. I think you want a sure tackler against that young man because he could buck people off of him pretty easily, in my opinion. All right, we've got a number more questions to go here on this afternoon's live stream live from Steve Spurrier's Gridiron Grille in Gainesville, Florida. I'm Bobby Burton alongside CJ Vogel and Jerry Hamilton, alongside Rod Babers back in the great state of Texas. Matthew Hutchison, our producer here in Gainesville, with us as well. All right.
He's in enemy territory today.
He is in enemy. Matt is a Florida State fan, and he is definitely in enemy territory.
How's he doing back there? How's he doing? Does he got the shakes or anything?
He does have the shakes, and he's also wearing cloves of garlic around his neck. I think to ward off the evil vampire that is Steve Spurrier that sucked the blood out of the Florida State program for years. Let's talk a little bit about tomorrow on our game day coverage because I want to make sure everybody knows what we got going on. Tomorrow morning at 8, we have the Saturday conversation. That'll be myself, Jerry, and Rod giving you the very latest and also talking about other games in the big in the SEC that involve Texas, not that involve Texas, but that concern Texas, as well as a couple of national games. Then we have the tailgate right at noon. That will be from Hargrove, our friends there. And then the watch with us. Jerry, Rod, you guys will both be on with Aaron Hogan, as well as Coach Shipley and Jeff Howe. And then the post-game live immediately following the game, brought to you by our friends over at Flight by Yingling. Should be an interesting game altogether, interesting day for everybody as well. All right, guys, the next thing I want to talk to you about is a lot of people have asked, we actually had somebody come in here and ask how long we're going to be at Spurrier's Bar and Grill tonight. We are leaving here in the next 10 minutes from Spurrier's Bar and Grill to go to a place called McDenton's Irish Pub. DJ's already got an Irish car bomb waiting for him, I think. Do you know what an Irish car bomb is?
Yeah, they're tasty.
Okay, they're tasty. Okay, I guess that was maybe 25 years ago. Before you don't even know what the IRA is.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what the
Don't go
IRA
deep
is?
to that. Don't go deep. We don't have time.
Okay. It's a little bit different than that. But anyway,
Yes.
That's an old drink, I guess. They may not have those anymore because, frankly, it's not happening anymore. But long story short, we'll be at McDenton's Irish Pub tonight from about 5:30 to 7:30. Please feel free to come out and join us over there. We're not doing a live stream or anything like that. We're just going over there, hanging out for a little bit. And then tomorrow morning, we have our tailgate from 10 until kickoff. Come join us. It will be the largest tailgate, by the way, on campus that has anything to do for people with regards to the University of Texas. It should be 300-400 people plus. Please come join us. We would love to have you use that URL that's on the code there. Matt will also leave it in our description as well as in the chat for you guys to be able to see that as well. So that's what we got going on tomorrow. It should be a lot of fun. We're going to be out there early. And I can't wait. I spent some time around campus this morning, CJ, and I know you did this afternoon as well. And there's a lot of buzz in the air right now because a lot of fans at Florida, they think they may be getting a new coach, and they're actually more excited about that than they are the game itself. That may be a result. This one from UT Tyler guy, with Lagway not being 100%. I see lane integrity in the pass rush being important. Keep him in the pocket, collapse the pocket, and make his internal clock speed up. People have used that formula to defeat Florida so far this year, Jerry and Rod. Y'all agree?
Interior D-line, get a push and push him back. Don't let him step up. Push him back in the pocket. I think that's a key with all guys like that. That's what Texas, if Mateer does play next week, who knows? I'm not saying they're going to do the same thing. You want to get interior pocket push first and bring him to the edge players. Don't give him the ability to step up away from the pass rush. But you got to have that interior push to make him step back too. I think that's the whole key. Texas D tackles have to win. They don't have to go make sacks or get hits on the quarterback. They just need to push the pocket towards the quarterback Saturday, Rod.
Yeah. Agreed.
Hey, here we go. Frank DeCluit. Who will be the unsung hero for Texas if they win tomorrow? Rod, you got a pick on this?
Ooh, unsung hero. How about Jack Indries?
I like
it.
There you go. Tight end getting some love. He didn't even get a target last game. Jack Indries. I'll take that.
Interesting. Y'all, Rod, you mentioned you think Texas is going to go more 12 personnel in this game because of the weather, probably. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that means 2 tight ends on the field. What do you think of the young tight ends and what they've done thus far and their progress, whether that's Jordan Washington, whether that's Amari Winston or Nick Townsend? You feel like those guys are all showing promise at different levels?
Yeah, and all with different things they do really well. There's such the versatility and variety at the tight end position is something I don't think Texas fans have seen, kind of the modern history of Texas at tight end. And Sark has shown when he has a surplus of talent at a position, running back, O-line, he will formulate a specific personnel grouping just for them, or use more of a personnel grouping to weaponize that position. He did it with the 6 O-line package, did it with 21 personnel, of course, in the pony package. I think he's doing it right now with 12 personnel. Has seen as much as we ever saw him run 12 personnel in that Sam Houston State game. I think it continues in this game. I'm predicting more than 50% 12 personnel usage in this matchup, and could end up using some of those play action concepts in the red zone to get those tight ends free. That's why I'm going to pick Jack Indries to make some big plays.
All right, do we got time for a couple more questions? Napier will be the unsung hero, according to Jet Jones. Love it. Got a couple time for a couple more questions, but we got to be quick here. David Rawls, this one's for CJ. I'm going to give it to you, CJ. Will the O-line of Texas hold off a pretty strong Gator front?
Yeah. Well, look, Florida has talent up there. They've just yet to create sacks this year. 135th in the country, only 3 sacks so far this year. So look, They've got talent. They haven't been able to make that talent impact the football game in that regard so far. And Sark talked about it a little bit. He said, look, their defensive linemen, especially, they two-gap. They want that pocket to collapse. They don't necessarily want those running lanes that Jerry was talking about in regards to DJ Lagway, but they haven't had that game-breaking edge rusher. Also, Texas won't see Joseph Mbachu, who was a big-time commit and then decommit and then flip to Florida. He's out this upcoming Saturday as well. So I do think Texas will be able to hold the Florida pass rush off, and Arch's legs here are going to be so important to create. I hope they use him out of the pocket, rolling out, moving the pocket more than we've seen over the last 3 weeks as well.
All right, this is going to be the last one for us all, and I want all of us to take this one over and under from Joseph Curtis. Over under 1.5 turnovers created on Florida by the Texas defense. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go 2, and I think Texas will have 1. Florida will have 2 tomorrow. What do you think? Over under on 1.5.
I'll take the over. Sloppy games, ball on the ground. We've seen a lot of sloppy games so far this year across college football where it's wet, balls slip out of running backs' hands. I think that's going to be one. And, of course, Lagway, I know it's October, but Halloween is still 28 days away. He's been giving them out like trick-or-treat candies and interceptions earlier.
From a Lamborghini. I've got 2 turnovers each by both teams. I think they're going to play even in the turnover battle.
Rod B, you used to be a turnover machine, man, as a cornerback. What do you think?
Oh, I thought you were talking about when he played point guard.
I wish. Yeah. I don't know. I'll take 3. I'll take the Texas defense to get a couple of turnovers. Ultimately, I just think that the ball is wet. You got to be practicing it right now, knowing that's going to be inclement weather, stripping the football, punching out the football. So I think Texas will take advantage of that and get a couple.
All right. Tell you what, that's going to do it for us live here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grille. Been fun. CJ, we'll see you a little bit later tonight over at McDenton's near campus at right across from Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
Let's go.
To give people a chance to go check out the stadium, by the way. This has been brought to you by our friends over at Garage Beer. The Garage is always open. Garage Beer Light and Lime with 95 calories, 3 grams of carbs, and only 4% ABV. It is beer-flavored beer. It's beer the way it should be, cold, crisp, and easy. Garage Beer, no gimmicks. Just Garage Beer Light and Garage Beer Lime with 95 calories and 3 grams of 3 carbs and only 4% ABV. It is beer-flavored beer. All right, for Matthew Hutchison, our producer, as well as Rod Babers and Jerry Hamilton back in Texas, I'm Bobby Burton, and here's the young buck, CJ Vogel, flipping the coaster. Y'all take care, guys. Have a good one. Welcome forward.